DDP went fishing and caught a shark. He took some shots at Khamzat Chimaev as well. Don't kiss it on its mouth. No way. That's what Khamzat tried, and look how that turned out. Khamzat got word of that and fired back 2 dead fish in 1 photo. Khamzat's coming off a submission of the year contender win over Robert Whittaker. He wanted to fight Dricus for the title, but that fight goes to Strickland February 8th. Shara Bullet fighting again in Saudi Arabia February 1st versus MVP. Due to his eye condition, he's only taken fights in Saudi, UAE, China, Russia, Brazil, and Thailand. American MMA fighter Dre Miley also has one eye and has a lot of experience dealing with American commissions. He tells me the easiest commissions he's dealt with are Michigan, Wisconsin, and Florida. Wisconsin, the UFC never really goes to. Michigan, they haven't gone to in a while and haven't announced any plans to go to recently. Florida, they just went to this month in Tampa, and they're planning to do another show in Miami in April. So if Shara Bullet ever wants to fight in the United States, Florida may be the best location to book him. UFC 103 adds Nasrat Haqparast versus Esteban Rivavics March 1st in Las Vegas. Haqparast is coming off a victory over Jared Gordon. He has won 4 in a row. Rivavics had a fight of the year contender against Daniel Zellhuber. Before that, he knocked out Terrence McKinney in 37 seconds with a head kick. Rivavics had a great 2024. Besides that fight, that March 1st card is headlined by Brandon Royval versus Manal Kape. That's going to be a fun flyweight fight, very entertaining. And this title shot implication in that one. You also have a women's flyweight fight, Luana Carolina versus Montana De La Rosa. You have Lucas Almeida versus Danny Silva, good featherweight fight. Cody Brundage versus Julian Marquez. Marquez is always in interesting battles. You also have William Gomi versus Haider Emil. Sam Patterson versus Danny Barlow in a welterweight contest. And Charles Johnson versus Ramazan Tamirov is likely on that card. Tamirov said that's the fight that they offered him. Still waiting to hear back from Charles Johnson on that one.
So imagine this, guys. We have a fighter on the card on my roster. He's 3-2 with us. 3-2. He pulls out of a fight to take vacation for the holidays. I'm a coach as well. If I had a fighter in my gym that was 3-2 that decided to take a vacation for the holidays, I'd kick him out of my gym. I promise you. But at the very least, he would not be invited to my classes anymore. I would not coach this guy anymore. I promise you that. 3-2. And you think it's okay to take a vacation for the holidays? Doesn't impress me.
Karate Combat's next show will be January 24th in Miami, Florida. BKFC announces BKFC Italy. The promotion is coming there in April, specifically Florence, Italy. Also in April, the promotion is going to Dubai on April 4th and 5th. They'll be traveling a lot more next year for their $25 million tournament.
It's going to spread out over between 9 and 12 months. It's going to be, like I said, you got to, there's going to be tryouts, qualifying rounds. It's going to be on those qualifying rounds are going to take place on 5 different continents. Carlos
Prates shared with Guilherme Cruz that he heard rumors about a potential UFC event in Brasilia May 31st. If it happens, it would mark the UFC's first return to the city since March 2020. At the time, it was one of the weirdest events in UFC history, being behind closed doors due to the emerging pandemic, marking the first time the UFC had an event occurring without an audience. Donald Cowboy Cerrone has put himself back into the testing pool for drug testing because he wants to return in June or July, and he has already had 1 test session with the Combat Sports Anti-Doping Agency. Dana White doesn't want him to come back, doesn't want him taking more damage. He says he'll pay him to do something else, but Cerrone wants to come back. He admitted, though, using PEDs, including TRT, while away from competition. He did steroids as well. He said the substances made him feel rejuvenated, like he's 21 again. Cerrone's return to fighting caused some controversy because he's been using those PEDs. Some critics argue that using banned substance during retirement will give him an unfair edge when he comes back. Like Bellator middleweight champ Johnny Eblen criticized the move, saying, "I don't think it's right to retire, take a bunch of steroids, and then return to fight. It's not a good look." As far as who Cerrone should fight in the UFC, some suggest him fighting Tony Ferguson again. They fought in 2019. Since that fight, Cerrone lost 5 times and had 1 draw. Ferguson won the fight, which was 12 wins in a row for him. Since then, he lost 8 fights in a row, which is the most in UFC history. So out of the roster right now, Ferguson has the most consecutive losses in a row, and Tai Tuivasa's second place with 5, as well as Andrea Lee, who has 5 losses in a row. Sean O'Malley heading to Tokyo. He'll be at Ryzen on Tuesday and some fan events in Tokyo. Top 5 US sports event streaming records. Netflix owns the top 5. Number 1, Paul versus Tyson, 108 million. Then you got Taylor versus Serrano 2. Beyonce halftime show, Ravens versus Texans, and Chiefs versus Steelers. Jake Paul says, if LeBron owns Christmas Day, we own sports. Netflix will also try and get UFC media rights in the new year. Jamal Hill says the bounce in his legs are coming back for his fight with Yuri Prochazka next month. He says, I don't like to make excuses, but was I 100% where I needed to be as far as the injury goes for the last fight? Anybody who knows Achilles surgery knows that 9 months isn't ideal, but I took a fight and banked on myself. Khalil Roundtree recalls just being happy during the Alex Pereira fight. Even the moment when I got finished in the 4th round, I just felt so happy throughout that whole fight. I felt like I was where I belonged.
There are people, a sort of cult that work in collusion with the creatures.
Khalil Roundtree is ranked number 7. He could fight number 5 ranked Alexander Rakic, because number 4 and 6, Blachowicz and Oberg, are fighting each other. Chael Sonnen recently said he would have thrown in the towel if the doctor didn't stop Colby's fight with Joaquin Buckley. Colby says, my opinion is Chael cares about me. He's a real one. If he throws in the towel, he knows I can't see. Colby said he wanted to fight Gilbert Burns because he gave out Chael Sonnen's phone number. And then since then, Gilbert has been really pushing for them to fight in April in Miami. Roman Kopylov working with spies and non-spies at Syndicate MMA in Vegas for his fight next month against Chris Curtis. Former UFC fighter Carlos Mota's 2-year suspension for PED usage is over, and he's fighting on Monday in Japan at KO Climax 2024. Mike Johnson, JUCO wrestling. He didn't need that wrestling in his last fight against Ottoman Azaitar, knocking him out. UFC referee Mike Beltran says, today's 30 years since I started with the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department Academy, Class 286, still going strong. Former UFC fighter Frank Camacho fighting in this grappling tournament on January 12th. Former UFC fighter Jake Collier versus former Bellator fighter Christian Edwards, January 18th in Shamrock FC. The Apex sucks. It's not 2020. It's time to move on from that place. It's too cost effective for them to move on now. And since they're a public company, it's all about reducing cost. UFC signs teen Alice Pereira. What kind of liberal ass titles are you using? They've been a ton of teens in the UFC before, but they were dudes. I don't get it. I like the comment. I just don't get it. Thanks for watching. If you want to support the channel, you can via super thanks, donations, and channel memberships.